What's the most life-changing thing you found out too late? When I was 12, I became obsessed with this old music box I found in my grandmother's attic. It played this haunting, lilting melody like something from a dream you can't quite shake. Inside was a tiny porcelain ballerina, chipped at the base, spinning in slow, graceful circles. I'd wind it up over and over just to hear the song. Every time I played it, my mom would get this faraway look, sad, like she was remembering something she didn't want to talk about. I asked once where it came from. She just said, it belonged to someone important to your grandma, and left it at that. Fast forward to when I was 17, my grandmother had passed, and we were cleaning out her house. I found the music box again, in the back of her closet this time. But something caught my eye I hadn't noticed before, a thin seam along the bottom. I pried at it carefully and found a false compartment. Inside was a bundle of old letters, tied with a faded blue ribbon. They were addressed to someone named Elena, and the handwriting was unmistakably my grandmother's, Margaret. That through Memmy grandmother's name was Margaret, but as I read the letters, my hands started to tremble. These were love letters, dozens of them, spanning decades. They talked about longing, about stolen weekends together, about anniversaries only they celebrated. They were raw and tender and painfully beautiful. One line still stays with me. You are my safe place in a world that won't understand us. I kept digging and found photographs tucked behind the last stack of letters. My grandmother, younger, with a striking dark-haired woman Elena, I assumed laughing, holding hands, dancing barefoot in the grass. In one photo, they wore matching gold bands on their ring fingers. Then I found it. A yellowed marriage certificate dated 1962. Margaret Thompson and Elena Reyes, married in San Francisco, decades before same-sex marriage was recognized anywhere. I don't know who married them, or how they pulled it off, but someone did. Someone saw them as valid when the world wouldn't. Suddenly, everything clicked. The music box, the melancholy in my grandma's eyes, the way she always changed the subject when asked about her past. And then I remembered something that gutted me. Elena was part of my childhood. We all called her Aunt Elena. She was always there at birthdays, holidays, graduations. She gave the best hugs, smelled like lavender, and slipped me extra cookies when my mom wasn't looking. I just thought she was Grandma's best friend or longtime roommate. When Elena died in 2005, Grandma changed. She stopped hosting family dinners. She spent whole afternoons staring out the window, lost in thought. We all assumed it was age or maybe early dementia. But now I know she was grieving the person she had built a life with, the person she loved most in the world but could never publicly claim. That night, I confronted my mom. I showed her the letters, the photos, the certificate. She sat down and started crying. She told me they'd all known, the whole family. They'd agreed to keep it quiet because my grandmother was terrified of what the church or neighbors would say. Back then, coming out could mean losing your job, your home, your children. She couldn't take a risk, so they all kept the lie going. Even after Elena died, the part that wrecked me, my mom said Elena helped raise her. She was at every recital, every scraped knee, every heartbreak. She was a second mother. But when Elena got sick, my grandmother had no legal rights, couldn't make medical decisions, wasn't listed in the obituary, couldn't even sign the burial papers. Now I'm 19. I visit both of their graves. I keep the music box on my dresser. I still play it sometimes. And every time that melody starts, I think about Elena and Margaret, about how much love they had and how much they had to keep in the shadows.